We are Soccerphiles Canada. Check us out by searching International Soccer Preview. Welcome to Series 30, looking at the players of the 2025 Gold Cup. This episode is looking at the players of Jamaica. Part 2, the selections. Here we go. In Section 3, we have our Spotlight Review. So our Spotlight Review is a galloping horse ride through the team. Again, for those who listen to Section 2, it's a review. For those who listen to or who are joining us for the short version of the mediacast, strap on your belts. We got to do this quickly. So we have manager Steve McLaren as a we're going to say as if he had been selected for the final squad. He'll be leading them through the tournament. Okay, for goalkeepers, we had two definite candidates, Andre Blake and Jamali Waite. Both of those were selected for the final squad, as was likely candidate Shakon Davis. So fairly straightforward there. We think Andre Blake will be the definite starter. We did think Jamali Waite was the clear first backup until the recent games where Shakon Davis put in a bid. So now we have both of them kind of contending for the backup role, we think. Those are our predictions. Okay, on to defense and central defenders. We have definite candidate Ethan Pinnock selected for the squad. Two of our likely candidates, Damien Lowe and Richard King, also selected, but Deshaun Bernard out because of injury. We had him as a likely candidate as well. And then we had four possible candidates. Two of them, Mason Holgate and Kyle Ming, reached the final squad. But the other two didn't even make the preliminary squad. That is Michael Hector and Fitzroy Cummings. And in this fast review, we're not going to talk about candidates at the possible but unlikely or seemingly off the squad level unless it's significant. We go to left backs here. No definite candidate from part one, but we did have likely candidate Amari Bell, who was selected, and possible candidate Greg Lee, also selected. The other possible candidate, though, Christopher Ainsworth, was not selected. He only made the preliminary squad. So what we have here is likely starter Amari Bell and possible starters Greg Lee. On to the right back position, we have a definite candidate in Dexter Lembikisa, and that's really all we have. We had possible candidate Tavon Gray, who didn't even make the preliminary squad. So we're going to go with Dexter Limbikisa as as a definite starter. And if he needs to be replaced, it'll be an out of position player, perhaps Greg Lee, coming over there. That's it for defense. For defensive midfielders, we have a definite candidate in Joel Latibaudiere. He was selected for the squad. Likely candidate Isaac Hayden, also selected, but only the first of our three possible candidates, Casey Palmer, was selected. Jashon Anglin, not even selected for the preliminary squad there, but Sule McCalla at least made the preliminary squad, though not the final cut. For starters in the central midfield, generally two players in this position. We think likely starters Joel Latibaudiere and John Russell. Oh no, we forgot to do central midfielders. I'm going to do that and then come back to this. Central midfielders, no definite or likely candidates. Two possible candidates, Caroy Anderson and Demario Phillips, both of those just making the preliminary squad. However, our first possible but unlikely candidate, John Russell, did make the squad. That's why we saw his name up there. And we will go back to it because we have no left or right midfielders of significance to speak of. So here we go, back at our predicted starters. Again, no definite starter, but likely starters, Joel Latibaudiere and John Russell, who featured heavily in the recent May and June games. Also possible starters here, Isaac Hayden and Casey Palmer. Okay, we go to the attacking end of the field. We begin with versatile attacker Leon Bailey. He's going to appear all over the attacking end of the field. He was a definite candidate here, and he was selected for the final squad. We have left attackers, a definite candidate in Damari Gray, who was selected, and likely candidate Ronaldo Cephas, also selected for the final squad. However, possible candidate Alex Marshall, not selected even for the preliminary squad. Things are pretty fluid up front for Jamaica, so these players in a way could start in any of the positions we're going to talk about going forward. But anyway, as left attacker, we think likely starter Damari Gray or Ronaldo Cephas, and possible starter Leon Bailey. Moving over to the right attacking side of the field, we had definite candidate Bobby De Cordova-Reid selected for the final squad, likely candidate Kaheen Dixon also making it, and even possible candidate Norman Campbell selected for the final squad there. However, as far as predicting starters go, we're not brave enough to name a definite or even a likely starter, so we're going to name De Cordova-Reid and Dixon as possible starters, along with the versatile Leon Bailey, who sometimes starts over here. Central attackers, well, they didn't use this position much during the period in about a quarter of the games, but they did use this position in both of their World Cup qualifiers there. So perhaps they'll use it in the Cup as well. We had no definite candidate, but a likely candidate in Tyreek McGee, and to our surprise, he was not selected for the final squad, just the preliminary squad there. Jamaica is trying to reel in Omari Hutchinson, the Premier League player, but he hasn't committed to Jamaica here, so he was not selected even for the preliminary squad. We had him as a possible candidate. However, one of our possible but unlikely candidates, one of our three, was selected for the final squad. That was Dwayne Atkinson. In this position, due to recent appearances, we considered Damari Gray a likely starter if they continue to use this position. Okay, for forwards, we have a definite candidate in Antonio Mikel, who is selected for the final squad. Likely candidate Warner Brown, also selected, but the other likely candidate, Shamar Nicholson, not making it this time, just named to the preliminary squad. We have a possible candidate as well, that's Romario Williams. He was selected for the final squad, and that's what we have here. 3 players coded as forwards, but we also have several players willing to step in as forwards, and that made it a bit difficult to predict there. Well, it's easy to predict Mikel Antonio if he's fit. It becomes a bit harder to predict if he's not. Right now we have Warner Brown and Ronaldo Cephas, both of those really due to recent appearances in the position. Woo! That brings us to the end of our Spotlight review. Check us out by searching International Soccer Preview. We would like to thank Future Bass for the wonderful music you hear in this podcast. The title is called Alone.